Okay, brilliant. So we've just started the webinar. Kudzi and Suyesh will wait for the attendees to join. It
Cool.
also gives me an opportunity to now share my screen. So let me go ahead and set up the presentation. We'll give it a couple of minutes for all of our attendees to join. Maybe similar to you, Kudzi, they have an update that Zoom throws them right.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't take long. So let's wait and see.
Yeah, it's always good to give few minutes.
Exactly. Give everyone a chance to join.
Yeah, they don't want to miss any bit.
For those who are already in the call, the session is being recorded. So even if you have a telephone conversation to pick up in the meantime, or a client's reached out, you'll be able to re-review the recording to ensure that you don't miss any of the talking points that we'll discuss today. But really appreciate the attendees in the session who are currently in the room waiting for your attendance. We're really excited to discuss inefficiencies in UK accounting firms. We'll just give it a little more time. I can't see the list of attendees from my side, but as you mentioned, it's always good to just give it a couple of minutes before starting. Okay, I think we can get started. And while we introduce ourselves, that might be a good opportunity for them to join the call. We still have a couple of slides before we really start talking about the key inefficiencies that are impacting UK accounting firms. But I would like to introduce the webinar to begin with. And we're going to be talking about the real cost of inefficiencies in UK accounting practices. The webinar is hosted by TaxDome. For those of you who aren't familiar of TaxDome and our company, we're a practice management suite that helps tax professionals, accountants, and bookkeepers streamline their internal processes and save time in their business. I'm not hosting this webinar by myself. I'm also joined by some of our panelists. So I would like to start by just simply introducing the individuals on the call. I will start with myself. My name is Samuel George, and I'm the UK Country Manager here at TaxDome. If you have any questions about the functionalities of our suite, how TaxDome can help you streamline your business and save time, I'll be more than happy to schedule in a consultation with you and walk you through our platform in more detail. I'm also joined by Kudzi Chinya, Director of Blue Hectare. He's been a user of TaxDome since July 2024. He has 9 team members currently on his practice management suite, as well as Suyesh Sharma, Director of Metta Accountants, who's been a member of TaxDome since we initially met him in 2023 at the Digital Accountancy Show. Kudzi, may you please introduce yourself and share a bit of information about your business?
Yeah, thanks. So, my name is Kudzi from Blue Hectare. So we are a practice that is currently based in Milton Keynes, and we work primarily, I think, with clients in the healthcare space. Yeah, glad to be here and looking forward to this webinar. Thanks, Sam.
Really appreciate your introduction, Kudzi, and Suyesh, likewise.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Suyesh Sharma. I'm the director of Metta Accountants. Metta Accountants is based in Harrow, London. We primarily deal with two types of clientele. One is owner-managed businesses, and another one is with working a lot with high-earning salaried individuals, people with overseas income and complex tax matters. So we do a lot of tax planning and those kind of things. And yes, an avid user of TaxDome. So yeah, I thought why not to share what we have gained after using TaxDome. So here we are.
Really appreciate your introductions and great to hear your own perspectives about inefficiencies that you've faced and really discuss how you were able to overcome those difficulties and challenges. I think it's great to walk through the agenda of the webinar today so that everyone is aware of the structure. We're really going to start from step one, beginning your accounting practice. What software is really important? What were accountancy practices using previously, and what were some of those initial inefficiencies? What prompted accountancy practices to make changes to their tech stack to really become more efficient? What was that moment they decided they really need to change up their suites and save time in their business? We'll then talk more generally about all inefficiencies that UK accounting firms will face. From my perspective, that will very much be information and data from the consultations that we would have with different accounting professionals. And that would be a great opportunity to perhaps dig deeper into initial inefficiencies that both Kudzi and Suyesh would be facing in their day-to-day lives and how they're able to overcome those challenges. Obviously, since we're talking about inefficiencies, challenges, we need to really address the resolutions, how we can overcome those difficulties, how we can get that time back to really dedicate towards high value end work. To really pull that all together at the end, how can software play a role into overcoming those inefficiencies and challenges? So we'll be talking about what a modern firm really looks like before jumping into a Q&A. We'll be happy to address all of your questions and queries about the topics that are discussed today. Before we jump into the demonstration, I'd also like to start with a quick poll. If I may politely ask everyone to share their feedback in the chat in response to this question as to which of these challenges do you struggle with the most in your business. I've listed some key inefficiencies on the right-hand side here. And while everyone's typing their responses in the chat, it's a great opportunity to also introduce our two customer success managers on the call today, Piera and Maria, two TaxDome professionals who will be happy to answer your queries about any of the functionalities that we discussed today, and they'll be there to assist us further within the chat. So just give everyone a couple of seconds to type in their responses. It's going to be the majority of feedback from myself, Kudzi and Suyesh. So also very interesting to hear your own perspectives and feedback. I can see the chat is already lighting up. Workflow automation, that's a key one. Really saving time. Workflow automation, I think typically in practice management suites can be with relation to task management and client communication. We really strive to have advanced automations on TaxDome. So we have 13 different actions that can be incorporated into a completely customizable flow. That's not only limited to task automation and client communication, but also for invoicing, also for chats, for letters of engagement, for information requests. It'd be great to hear perhaps how Kudzi and Suyesh have been able to utilize those initial pain points and inefficiencies and utilize automations to help overcome them. I see workflow automation appearing quite a lot. I understand that is a common inefficiency and important to have a platform that can really help you to save time. A lot of time lost in accounting practices is as a result of admin tasks, chasing up on clients, and we'll go more into those points later on. Task management is also important. Having visibility across your team, understanding the ownership of different tasks, different clients. Really important to have everyone on the same page as well. And client communication. I had a demonstration yesterday where they were sharing big inefficiencies and challenges that they had. Typically, as they utilize WhatsApp, it leaves the door open for clients contacting them at somewhat inappropriate times. Really appreciate everyone reaching out on the chat and sharing your own inefficiencies. Let's dive into the presentation and go into more depth into those challenges. Really to lay the groundwork for this full webinar, I think it is really important to go back to the beginning. So on this page, we're going to be talking more about trends of platform adoption. Now, I've taken data all the way back from 2010, so we can see the change in platform adoption and seeing what platforms were primarily used previously in accounting firms and what potential inefficiencies were caused as a result. I've just chosen two functionalities, document storage and e-signing. From the document management section, we're all familiar now with Google Drive, OneDrive, SmartVault, Dropbox, but back in 2010, a lot of accounting firms were utilizing their local file servers to store documents and information. That can be inefficient. For example, if we're receiving emails with a long list of attachments of documents, it would therefore be the accountant's responsibility to download all those attachments and then re-upload them into their local network drive. It could also be somewhat of a negative user experience for your end clients, having to attach all that information into one email and one space, perhaps difficult to track what information has already been shared if there is a high volume of information and attachments. It's also important to have your client documents secure and safe. If you're utilizing a local file server, you would need to manually back that up. So having cloud solutions can really help to overcome those initial inefficiencies. Similarly, with e-signing platforms, this was very surprising to me, as back in 2010, we see 85% of accounting firms not having an e-signature platform, requesting email approvals or actually written signatures. That again is a very inefficient process for your end clients. When they receive that initial return, they themselves would need to print off that return, sign it, rescan it, and re-upload it to you. That's very inefficient and takes up a lot of time, which only increases that return rate for the client. It makes it a longer, more strenuous process for them. And we also look at different emailing and e-signing platforms. There's additional costs to those e-signatures. It'd be great to open the floor up to yourself, Kudzi. What was the platforms that you chose to adopt into your business when you got started, and why did you choose those platforms?
I think like most accounting, I think when you start, especially if you start by yourself as a one-man band, you're probably thinking, I don't want to spend a lot of money on systems. I think you find that you start in Excel. So we initially when you started, everything was in Excel, trying to manage. But I think as soon as you get one or two clients and then you start realizing Excel has got its limitations, you have to start consider other platforms as well. So the first platform that we actually jumped onto, I think, was Accountancy Manager, which was great as a one-man band. But as soon as the team started to grow, we started feeling some of the pain. So that's, I think, when we started moving our journey into TaxDome. And I think one of the key issues, which is probably synonymous with most of the responses that you saw going in the chat, was the issue around automation of workflow, just making sure that we can track jobs or activities, any client activities throughout for different work that we're doing for clients. And that was one of the key reasons that when the team started to grow, Accountants Manager was probably not helping us as much as we would have hoped.
Yeah, really interesting insight there. And how did you determine what platforms you were moving forward with? I'm sure there are accountants in the webinar today who are just exploring different solutions and suites. How did you make that decision?
Yeah, that's a very important question. I think most people relate to this. It's time consuming looking for the proper system to use. Why? Because you have to test it out. You can't just go by what others are saying or some of the reviews that you see online. And I have to tell you the truth, we tried a few ones. One of the things that we actually did, we tried, for example, project management softwares to see if we can bolt them to our existing accountants manager. So we tried something like um, Asana. We tried Asana for some time. It wasn't working. We tried ClickUp as well. We tried it for some time. It wasn't working. But I think we wanted something that was dedicated to accounting. And then after some trial and misses, I think we tried TaxDome, and the setup was took a bit of time, but thanks to Maria was patient with us and helped us to build some of those workflows. But once it got going, I think the team are 100% in favor of the system. Yeah.
You touched on a really important topic there as well. You mentioned for workflow management, which was an initial inefficiency of yours, you looked into Asana and ClickUp. Of course, when talking about workflow automation, there are going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of platforms that manage or some kind of automation. So it's really about what automation is going to be applicable and really help you in your business. We meet with many accounting firms that still use the likes of Excel spreadsheets because they're somewhat familiar with the format. They utilize that for workflow tracking because they're used to that process. When you do start understanding how you can save additional time to really utilize that for more high-end value work, you can be more efficient. You can just, yeah, help your team collaborate together and all be on the same page. So I
Yeah,
guess to
definitely.
summarize, while there are many different platforms to help you and your firm with regards to workflow automation, it's about determining what are the additional benefits, and having an automation platform integrated into the likes of a CRM, e-signing platform, reporting tools helps to keep everything together for your own efficiency and convenience.
Yeah.
So yes, if I may pose you the same question, when you got started in your accounting practice, what were the initial platforms that you got started with, and what really encouraged you to make those decisions? You're muted currently, Suyesh. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting journey for me with TaxDome actually, because I really started my practice in 2022. So I started as a one-man band and then took on a few people. And then initially it was a bit of a nightmare really to understand where everything is flowing. And I had to keep everything in my head or on an Excel or on my notes or whatever. So I was not happy about, and that I don't want to work like this. So I started looking around for some software maybe that could help me manage everything, because our practice is very like a digital one. So even though we have an office, it's still like a digital practice. We don't work with papers at all. So I wanted that from the start, that it has to be something that will help me keep that digital approach live. So yeah, after trying quite a few ones, and in fact, so we used TaxCalc as our main accounting suite, and they offered their automations and workflows, which is what we initially started with, and they also offered SmartVault to add on for document management. So we started using that, but the overall experience was not that great with the workflow in TaxCalc and then the integration with SmartVault. The client they were not happy. So I was not convinced that we will be able to continue that. So I was looking out. So of course I then went out to the DSA, is it Digital Accountancy Show, DAS. And I met Sam, and obviously I've also looked at few other softwares, but this one really stood out for me because the interface was very friendly for me, and the support that was provided was also quite hands-on. So that were the main two things that hooked me up with TaxDome. And then obviously, since we started using it, it has totally changed the traction of our business. And everything is very seamless and integrated. And our team, they just love TaxDome. From to start to end, we pretty much do everything through TaxDome. And now like everything is built into one system. Previously, we had signable separately, and that was a nightmare. Initially when we didn't have signable, that was even bigger nightmare. So to get the documents scanned, then download and all that. But the efficiency we were able to achieve after using TaxDome was just phenomenal. So yeah, I mean, document management and e-signing, it just streamlined totally because, and obviously the interface for the clients was a big win as well. We continuously get so much appreciation on this, and obviously because it's white labeled, the TaxDome really comes very small at some underlying things. So people really think that it's my own portal. I don't really say much on that, but I say, yeah, thank you. Because it's quite good to because then the customers really, they feel that they are in safe hands. If they feel the reliability in the way you communicate, it just looks professional.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great points there, and I think a really important takeaway is that it's a process when finding platforms. You were mentioning, Suyesh, at the beginning, you like to keep all the information in your head. You perhaps were familiar with that process. You like to be aware of the task management, your client, what your requirements and responsibilities were. Then you looked into TaxCalc, which didn't meet your needs. Then you looked into Signable. So it was just a process of testing out different solutions before finding a platform that did work for you. And
I
I
mean,
guess
having everything in one place is a game changer for anybody, I would say. Yeah.
I think the time spent from changing from tab to tab is very time consuming, not only for
It
you,
is.
but also for
It
your
is.
clients. if
Yeah.
they need to access specific links in order to upload and share information and documents with you, and then require an additional link to access Signable or Adobe Sign, that's really two credentials that they would very likely forget and need to reach out to you. Again, adding more additional time into those admin responsibilities that you would need to complete when you really should be focusing a lot of time on the high value end work.
Yeah, I mean, just on the e-signing, I remember because the pain point for every accountant, and I'm sure anybody who is listening will definitely connect to it, is that you send documents for signature or approval, then they will review it, then you have to update it and send it back, and then they will redo it, and then we will have to send it back. This happens, right? Even if however good you are at your work, clients can be very tricky. And this was a nightmare for us. But with TaxDome, it was so easy for us. And this is the feedback I got from our team member. Because it was a nightmare for them to then re-upload everything, then do everything. But in this one, because everything is in one place, and then it's so much easy to then just send it instead of going to another software to send it across. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was really nice.
So a key takeaway is time saved, and a perfect
Yeah,
segue
hugely.
to my next slide, which is really focusing on what is prompting those accounting practices that back in 2010 were utilizing their local network drives and requesting an email confirmation for e-signatures. What prompted their change? You already very clearly explained what prompted your change, why you moved from TaxCalc from Signable to a new suite, really about time. We took this statistic from the Accountancy Today report, which suggests that 1.2 hours on average are lost per day per accountant, and 1 in 4 accountants are losing a greater amount of time, 1.5 hours per day. When you add that up over a period of 1 month or a year, that's a staggering amount of time that you're dedicating
Yeah.
towards low value end work that you could be really dedicating towards your clients, putting it into marketing initiatives, offering advisory services. As so many accountants are losing that much time, and we have this on the other end of the scale, the technological advances, sorry, a new technology coming into the accounting hemisphere, we can see it's prompting a lot of accountants to make that jump, to make that change in order to become more efficient and to save even more time. Let's focus on that time aspect. We see an average value here, but Kudzi, when you got started, how much time would you say you were losing approximately on admin work and low value end work?
Quite a significant amount of time. I think especially chasing for documents that were not signed. I think that was probably the biggest point, or where either chasing for documents that are not signed, or chasing for clients to provide information, because obviously you send, they don't respond, you write an email or you try to follow up. That yeah, we lost quite a significant amount of time. And I think since we implemented TaxDome, this is where we have seen a huge improvement in our efficiency in terms of doing, in terms of recouping some of that time back, because of some of the functionalities that are built in within TaxDome, especially the functionalities of auto reminders. You can set how many reminders you want and the frequency of those reminders based on the clients. So some clients you only need to remind them once, but some clients need constant reminder, and that has been really a game changer for us, because we know certain clients you kind of have to prompt them more frequently, but I'm not having to remember to do it because all these is happening behind the scenes without any of my team members having to lift a finger. And I think this is where we've seen what we call significant gains in terms of time that we have recouped.
You mentioned you were utilizing Accountancy Manager, or formerly known as
Yes.
Accountancy Manager, now Bright Manager. And
Mhm.
when your team started to really grow, that was really the moment where you decided, I need another platform to become more efficient and to more efficiently manage the ongoing responsibilities with relation to my team. If I may
Yeah.
ask more specifically, Kudzi, was it having an oversight into your team activity? Was it allocating work? Was it utilizing automations? What really
Yeah.
prompted that change?
Yeah, no, no, good question. I think whilst the account is managed with some form of automation, so I think obviously the last time that I used it, which is back then, you could automate emails or reminders. like that. But I think the level of reminders that you can set in TaxDome, you can do it as a chat, you can do it as an email, you can do it as a prompt. So that gives you a good set of tools that you can use to definitely talk to clients. And then on top of that, also, I think you mentioned one thing, which was visibility of what the time, what your team is doing. Whereas, whilst in again, obviously, I'm comparing Accountants Manage because that's the one that I significantly spend a bit of time. Whilst it was good at creating tasks, but it was difficult for me to see. I just want to see what everyone is actually working on, what's coming in due. What do we need to prioritize depending with the different services that we're giving? Whereas in TaxDome, I just log in, boom, I've got my dashboard that's giving me, okay, fine, I know who is kind of overdue a little bit based on the team, and I can run those reports because it's got a dedicated reporting section that you can definitely run certain reports, which we have found quite useful. And then these reports obviously now form of our conversation that I'm having with my staff to say, okay, fine, where do we think we might be getting in trouble in the next few weeks? What do we need to rearrange? So that has been really, really a good game changer for me. I think the visibility of seeing what everyone is doing, the ability to run reports, and obviously, like I mentioned earlier, being able to chase after your clients, using different method. And what I like about it also, you can tie this into the workflow automations that I think most people put in the chat there. So for example, if you haven't received a document, the job will not move to the next stage, which has been really good for us. So you flag it that we're still waiting for a document, or you're still waiting for the client to sign. As soon as the client signs, then it automatically moves to the next stage. It triggers the task to be created for someone to go and review and do the submission, which again just adds those things because with other systems, you have to see whether has it been signed, and then you go and tick yourself. But actually, you can effectively, that the system is already doing that in the background for you.
It's great to hear that
Mhm,
live dashboard that we refer to as the pipeline
mhm,
will automatically track when clients have completed activities and actions on their end. So it
mhm,
massively just removes that admin responsibility to check up on client A. Have they sent through their information request? Has client B signed their letter of engagement? In one click, you can see that live dashboard and get an
mhm.
instant update and see where your clients are in that flow. I completely appreciate how that's helped you to get that time back. And Suyesh, similar to you, what was that eureka moment where you really decided, right, I need to find a new platform to help me become more efficient in my day-to-day work?
So I mean, I didn't have any eureka moment. As I said, I had a vision. I wanted something that will work digitally. I wanted something which will, have everything at one place. So, I mean, when we started using TaxDome, it really changed the whole momentum for us because there are so many ways you can use TaxDome. And I think someone just asked about being a solopreneur and they want whether they should be using TaxDome. So when I started using it, we were, I think, 2 or 3 members, or two probably. I think I started only with one license because I was just using, and then we had 2 and 3, and now I think we have 7. So it's definitely something for someone who is just starting up. So, for example, when the amount of time and hassle we reduced was unbelievable because what we did was uh, we just streamlined the whole onboarding. I mean, of course, the workflows and all that is there, but the onboarding streamlining was one of the most amazing thing for us because it was such a difficult task to then speak to someone and then take them on board. So if it is automated, then it's brilliant. So what we did is we went to our website, clicked attached the join us link, and we connected TaxDome to our website. And the most amazing thing is when they click join us button, it still feels you that you're on Metta Accountants website and you're just creating an account on Metta Accountants website. So the website automatically becomes so heavy for anybody who's joining us. So then that they feel good about it. So that's where we save huge amount of time because me on my own or just few people, it's very difficult to then have a lead call and then once they decide then onboard doing all that requesting all the information. So it was basically totally streamlined. So someone will just go click join us button. Once they join us, initially we had that we were able to also question what type of services they need. So in when they join, they will get new client onboarding, plus they will get relevant organizers, for example, a company incorporation organizer or a tax return organizer or a VAT organizer, automatically sent to them. So this was a eureka moment for us, that I said this is amazing. So this will help us. So then we started obviously putting a lot more time into it, and connecting everything to as much automation as possible, because that was just the start of automation. So you just start from there in TaxDome, where you onboard the client, and then in our onboarding, basically everything is automated. And so they will give their full details, they will add selfie, they will add all the documents. So I had a call with Zama guys, and I was mentioning this to you, Sam, earlier, because AML is a big problem, right? So that can be
Mhm.
very easily streamlined using TaxDome, because what we did is we had this sign up button, complete the organizer. At the end of the organizer, they will complete the KYC things, and they will add a selfie with passport. So I was just speaking to this Zama guy, and he said, "You know what? This process is perfectly compliant. You've done everything that you need to." So in fact, we've also added questions related to risk assessment in there. Obviously, keeping it light, not extremely, mostly like, are you cash intensive, this kind of things,
Mhm.
where are you
Yeah.
based. So those type of questions were also answered at that stage. So when we have to onboard our team, the onboarding team has all the information there without me
Indeed. Yeah.
giving a lot of input to them. So that was amazing that we were able to achieve that. And because of that,
Mhm.
we are able to take on clients, and still be super compliant, and then obviously give them the secure portal. And then I mean, there are so many things I can just go on. Then when they so what we've also done is, when they sign up, we send an automated message of welcoming and explaining how TaxDome work, and we make sure that they download the mobile app, because
Yeah.
that
Really
is
good.
the most amazing thing. Because when the clients start using app, it's like using WhatsApp, but like a you're dedicated for accounting and tax thing.
Yeah.
So and we've got so many good feedbacks. I mean, one of our Google or Trustpilot reviews, one of the reviews says that I have used many portals in my previous experiences, including top four portals, but none of them had the experience I had on your portal, which was flawless. So he didn't have to question us anything. And most of the time, nobody questions us on the portal issues, that this is not
Mhm.
working or that is not working. Yeah,
Not
there
working.
will
Yeah.
be questions related to our questions, that we ask, like whether you are a domicile. Now it could be a very challenging one for them, so they will ask us that question, but nothing to do with technical side. So the whole process, if you see, for onboarding, only on onboarding, I don't know how much time we save. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's quite good. It's quite good if it is implemented in the right way, and because obviously Maria support and other TaxDome guys support, people will be able to achieve that quite easily. That's what we did initially, and then obviously as you go along, you'll develop your skill set on TaxDome itself.
A lot of important takeaways there. So, yes, I think the main key one that you mentioned was starting out as a solo practitioner, utilizing TaxDome, and now here we are today, 2 years later, with 7 team members, loads more clients as a result of the positive experience they do have interacting with yourself as a business, the professional experience that you're able to offer as part of that client portal and mobile application experience, really putting the power into your clients' hands, being able to access their information from anywhere, anytime. So really, in my opinion, highlights how you've been able to scale with TaxStone, which is really happy, and we're
Yeah,
really
I
happy
mean,
to hear that from yourself.
what I have touched is just the onboarding part. There's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
whole lot to it, and 1 hour is not enough to discuss that. But yeah, getting the gist of it basically.
Completely agree. And even with that onboarding flow with the electronic questionnaire, which is going to be completely customizable, just like the
Yeah,
onboarding
yeah,
flow,
just
we'll
the
tailor that.
customizable thing is amazing. You can have a radio button, so if they say yes, then you'll ask different question. So that kind of
Mhm.
functionality, just that experience given to the client changes a lot of things. Trust me, I get so much feedbacks and appreciation on that, and people are really surprised, like, how are you even doing this? So I said, yeah, you need to take that consultancy separately. That's not related to accounts and
We'll,
tax.
we'll come to that later on, but
Yes,
it's really,
yeah, sorry, Sam, just to add to what Suyesh is saying, I think one of the things that we like also about, we've got our own onboarding questionnaire. The good thing is the fields within the questionnaire, they can also be linked to your fields that you
Yeah.
have as part of your client record. So as soon as a client, for example, give you the UTR number, it's automatically populating some of those fields. I'm not having to go and copy again. So the person who does the review, they already those fields are already linked in. So
Sorry,
as long as
Kudzi.
the client is completed,
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
we
cutting you
we
off,
like
but I
that.
want to make this point because you put a very good point there. Because
Mhm.
one of our team members, of course, I'm going on this webinar, so we were having a chat, and she mentioned to me that, definitely make a point about how amazing it is to send automated communication. So you know what, when you have to send like a payment reminder or anything, if you have your custom field with your UTR number or VAT number, you can just link it, so you don't even have to type it again, and the message will pre-populate with all that, and you just have to send it with just changing few things. So that was quite a big help for them as the team member. So that was amazing point,
Yeah.
and
It's
that links to what he just mentioned about linking the fields with various places throughout the portal.
It's a massive advantage. And let's move on to the next slide, which will really come back into that onboarding flow, really touching on the overall efficiencies that UK accounting firms really face, the crux of this webinar, so to speak. It's great to get your feedback. I'll very briefly provide additional context into these typical points that we hear during demonstrations and consultations. Obviously, because you've already touched on sending client reminders, it could be for e-signature requests, it could be with relation to document uploads. Clients might not be tech savvy, so it could benefit from a dedicated portal that's easy to use and also available as a mobile application. And they might not be prioritizing your email. They have their own lives, they have families, jobs. So having automated reminders really automates the chasing up on those documents and information. Time-consuming document requests. We talked previously about how in some accounting firms, they still need to request information via email, download all the attachments, and then re-upload them to a particular drive, software space that could be disorganized. So having dedicated functionalities that streamline that flow and would be automatically integrated into an accounting CRM. So again, removing that manual data entry work that just simply takes up so much time and would use a greater amount of time, the more clients you begin to work with, providing status updates and documents to clients. Realistically, in accounting firms where they don't have a dedicated portal, it will be a requirement for them to reach out to you over the phone, over email, for example, to ask for an update. Where's my VAT return? Can you send me my previous year's accounts? By providing a dedicated portal where they can autonomously see a work in progress toolbar at the top to get a better appreciation into the status of their ongoing work, and being able to access all of the previously shared documents completely removes that necessity from yourselves, and you can direct them to the client portal space where they can access all the information that has previously been shared. And Suyesh touched on before about how clients may have questions about the individual functionalities of that client portal. We really like to prioritize the user experience, which is why we've also developed a client help center specifically for your clients when utilizing that dedicated portal. Having dashboards and reporting tools, or I should say the lack of having those reporting tools. Deadline management is really, really key. Having an ownership of work. You want your practice management suite to reach out to you when there's a deadline upcoming, when you have limitations and restrictions into a particular job or activity. You want to have a better appreciation into the ownership of particular tasks and projects in your business. That can help you to make data-driven decisions, seeing your team efficiency, seeing how many returns you've completed. So again, you can have a better overview and insight into your business as a whole. Lack of integrated client communication tools. We talk a lot about accounting firms who communicate via WhatsApp and email. Well, that can be really great since everyone has WhatsApp on their mobile devices. We hear a lot of problems and inefficiencies. By opening the door to WhatsApp communications, you also open the door to clients reaching out to you at 3 a.m. in the morning to ask about
Yeah.
specific
Yeah.
information. Kudzi, maybe
That's
while
true.
you're both laughing, I can appreciate maybe a difficulty or an inefficiency that you've previously faced. So
Oh,
having
yeah.
a more professional way to communicate with clients and share that information can really help you offer a more positive client experience. And also disjointed tech stacks, inefficient for you as an accountant, needing to move from one tab to another to review documents, e-signature statuses, and also inefficient for your clients needing different credentials for different platforms. You want to make it easy for them. You want to provide them with a very positive client experience. Suyesh, if I may start with you, which of these general inefficiencies do you really see you losing a lot of time with before?
So yeah, we were just not using um, anything like TaxDome before, so it was quite inefficient. But then obviously, since we've started using TaxDome, pretty much all of these are covered. You know, just what you were mentioning about another thing which is quite useful and have saved us tremendous amount of time is keeping client informed. I think so. In our setup, every we have a pipeline for every work, so an accounting pipeline, VAT, tax return, confirmation statement, and things like that. So and at each stage we have an automated message to be going out to the client. So when it moves, so when we receive information, an automated and we move the task, or if it triggers automatic move, then it will send a message out to client automatically that we've received your information. Once it's in work in progress, then it will send another message saying it's now being worked on. Then it will go an internal review. So at pretty much every stage they are aware of it. Yes. So then we saved, like, I don't know how many hours just to let them know that where we are, because otherwise they will just keep on messaging, and that was one of the biggest problem we had. Because we work a lot on personal tax returns, so we have a lot of personal tax return clients. So there you can understand there is a lot of stages there, and they're always eager to know whether their tax return has been done. So with this implementation itself, they are not bothering us asking that question. Was amazing. So all the way to the end, they are fully informed. And with the new uh, uh, latest tool that was offered on the portal, where it has the live stage update, that
Pizza
was
tracker
amazing.
almost, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a sticky note thing on their side that they can
Yeah.
see where their work is. So and again, I got great feedback on that as well, because that just keeps them happy. Of course, if they are
Mm,
in urgency, they are traveling or something, then they will then contact us generally saying, we're just leaving. Can you hurry up or something? Otherwise, most of the
exactly.
time they're just very well informed. So the client satisfaction is there. We are not spending unnecessary admin time in just letting them know.
Yeah, exactly. And Kudzi, if I may pose a slightly different question, are there
Yeah.
any additional inefficiencies that we haven't addressed on the page here that you've experienced in the past?
Yeah, I'll probably talk about the client portal as well. Maybe the WhatsApp issue that you mentioned. I think this, for me, although it's, I'll probably say borderline inefficiency, but also confidentiality, and just making sure that client data is being held with in an appropriate way. We had to put a policy that you don't talk to clients on WhatsApp. The beauty about it is that with TextDome, there's a chat function in it. So it just feels like WhatsApp. You can take a picture, you can upload documents. So the beauty about it as well is everyone in the team has got visibility over all the conversations that are going backwards and forth. So if someone is not in the office or someone is being passed the work to work on a particular job, they can see all the communications that have been
That's
happening.
a tremendous
And
point.
it's
Yes, that's a
exactly,
great
and
point.
Yes, and it's all secure within the portal, which is tremendous. The beauty is because it's you can address it during work time. You can pretty much not looking at it at 3 a.m. in the morning, and you're not getting clients calling your employees or your staff asking questions at odd hours. So it's really good. It's a good benefit of because also it's on your phone. If you chat, they just get a notification like a normal phone, like a normal WhatsApp, and they can respond to it quickly without having to log into another system and to do another work. So we have seen a huge improvement in engagement from clients with regards to that.
Having an ownership of those chats, assigning
Mhm,
client tasks that you're notified about really helps you to be
mhm,
more streamlined, and any documents that they share in those chats
mhm,
automatically uploaded and stored in
mhm.
the
So
document management system within the CRM. So keeping everything together. A few more
yes.
slides to get through, guides, and not too much
Mhm,
time. But obviously, when talking about inefficiencies, it's really important to address the resolutions. How do we overcome these inefficiencies and challenges? So perhaps I may ask for very quick responses so we can run through essentially functionalities that you found most useful within the platform or on TaxDome that have helped you to overcome these challenges. I have put in some prompts into functionalities that we received the majority of feedback with relation to. Starting at the top, lack of client engagement. So again, we send an information request or a document request, we don't receive a response. Having automated reminders is a massive time saver. And as Kudzi mentioned, we're able to configure both the frequency of the reminder and the interval between those reminders. So we can be really pushy, or we can extend that time frame and just send polite reminders, as well as offering different communication channels, making it really easy for clients to reach out to us if they do have any questions or queries. Very quickly, Suyesh, on your side, how have you helped to improve client engagement?
Client engagement is brilliant. I think sometimes it's as good as WhatsApp in our case. Yeah, I mean, if you because it's a mobile app for them, so it just pops up a message and we get response very quickly. So the client engagement in terms of communication and that confidence has been tremendous. Again,
Uh,
um,
and what I hear, Suyesh, is like WhatsApp, similar to you could see, but additional advantages. More secure, it's your white label
Yes.
portal. They can complete e-signature requests, review documents. So it's WhatsApp, but so much more.
Yes.
With relation
Yes.
to time-consuming document requests, we have those questionnaires, electronic questionnaires that we referred to previously. It's well
Mhm.
structured, makes it really clear as to the requirements and documents that your end clients would need to upload, and you're also notified when they're completed. So having that live dashboard to see the live status of your clients. Kudzi, very quickly on your side, how have you been able to overcome time-consuming document and information requests utilizing TaxDome?
Yeah, so I'll go back to the organizers, the questionnaires. I think they've been a really good change, especially maybe agreeing with what Suyesh had said with regards to onboarding. So now we've got a dedicated, I'll probably very comprehensive questionnaire that as soon as a client comes on board, we send them that question. They fill in the fields. As soon as they complete the fields, it's already populating all the respective fields in TaxDome that we need to know the information. Some of the information is not linked to any field, so it just stays there. As soon as it's finished, we seal it so that there are no more changes that can be done to it, and we can always go back to it. So that one has been really, really good in terms of, I think, information requests from clients, but also the ability. I think I keep going back to the app because all our clients say is they love it. So if they've got a letter or something they want to share, they can just take a picture, upload it, and everyone in the team get a notification that client has uploaded a document. If it's again linked to a job, then the job moved to the next stage, and we've got a situation where tasks are automatically being assigned at the back of the appropriate documents being submitted.
Yeah, we saw how much time or losing time was such a big inefficiency and pain for UK accounting firms. So just in that respect of syncing fields within that electronic organizer into the CRM saves you so much time. With relation to deadline management, having different dashboards, receiving
Yeah.
deadline reminders within your dedicated notification center also helps you to become more efficient. I guess from your side, Suyesh, what are the most key aspects here with relation to saving time for deadline management? A very brief comment from your side. Have you been able to streamline that process?
Again, it's all through the workflow automation. So, we automatically send, so this multiple reminder thing Kudzi mentioned earlier. So I think we've managed to really nail it on the VAT information request, because that is something we have to do very regularly. So yeah, setting up the multiple reminders things, and tasks that will pop up on our systems through task management. You can have a task management. You can attach tasks to each team member, so it will come up. It will automatically pop up on their to-do list through the task management. So that what helps them quite well. So we've just had a new joinee starting us, and then he said it's so good for him, because when he opens his TaxDome in the morning, he knows what he needs to do today. So he needs to remind he needs to remind who he has to call. Everything is managed pretty well there. So that has been amazing as well for us.
Yeah, really important feedback. And with relation to these previous or the last two challenges here with relation to negative client experiences and automated processes, these are topics we previously touched on in this webinar with relation to having an all-in-one portal, providing your clients with a dedicated space where they can complete e-signatures, they can see the status of their ongoing work, they can access previously shared information, also as a mobile application, which can be used for client communication, reducing turnaround times, offering a more professional experience. With relation to automation processes, one of the key pipelines, synonym for workflow that we utilize here in TaxDome, one of the key pipelines that we're discussing is onboarding. But since that automation flow and process is completely customizable, you can generate these automations for all types of services that you offer your clients. And they manage both the internal aspect of task management and task assignment, as well as the client-facing actions and automations. For example, when you request information via those electronic questionnaires, client communication, client invoices, letters of engagement, and so much more. The next slide really highlights information about your own experiences, Kudzi and Suyesh. So you're part of our referral schemes. So it opens the door to accountants looking into new practice management suites to reach out to you to essentially learn more about your specific experience with TaxDome, how it's helped you. This is just an example of data from the ICP referral report that we generated with yourselves. And in my opinion, it really positively shows how TaxDome is able to help you be more efficient in your day-to-day work. We don't have too much time. We still have an additional slide and a Q&A. So I will just ask both of you one question with relation to the data that we see on this page. Kudzi, out of the different points that we see here with relation to time saved, client responses becoming faster, work delivery speed improvement, and having a lot of advantages in the dedicated client portal, which is the most important for you and why?
I'll go to the middle one, which is the percentage of response in terms of client engagement, because I think ultimately, I was talking to someone who was saying the number one reasons why clients leave accountants is because of engagement. And if we can increase that engagement in some form of way, that's a big plus for us. And the app has really, really helped us to make sure that we are constantly engaged with our clients. And I know we don't have much time, so I'm gonna go with the 50% response rate, which we've seen a huge leap in clients just responding to basic things or asking questions, because there's an area of communications which they can use to come back to us.
Really appreciate your feedback, Kudzi, and the same to you, Suyesh. What's been the biggest advantage for you and why?
Wow, there's too many, but I think client portal and automations. I think those two things have been most amazing thing for us as well. Just getting that dedicated portal, and that will pretty much, just that dedicated portal will explain everything: time saving, faster response, and delivery times as well, because the clients are quite quick on it, and it just helps to speed up the whole process and increase the efficiency quite a lot. So yeah, I mean, the 20-hour I mentioned could be more than that for us, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's 20 hours that you could put towards high-end value work, advisory services, really helping your clients further. To really bring the webinar to a close, it's very important to address how software can help address those inefficiencies that we discussed previously. And I understand as we discuss those inefficiencies, TaxDome has just naturally come into conversation. So I did want to clarify some of the key functionalities that we offer to help accounting firms become more efficient. The client mobile app has been a strong topic of discussion during the call. In our modern day society, we're all on our mobile devices. Having an app that's dedicated to all of their accounting needs helps to reduce turnaround time and offer a more professional client experience. Our mobile app is rated 4.9 stars with over, well, it's now 23K reviews, which in my opinion goes to show an unbiased review into the usability of that app. It's really user-friendly. Having an all-in-one platform to help manage every aspect of your accounting business, from onboarding to CRM to workflow automation, helps boost the efficiency of your team overall, and it helps you to have a better insight into your ongoing activities. Automation is a key in saving time. And since you're able to automate 13 different actions into that completely customizable flow, it's essentially limitless the amount of time that you can save. Investing in a platform that scales with you, I'll again refer back to Suyesh's comment about starting as a solo practitioner with TaxDome, and now 2 years later, having 7 team members and saving a lot of time that you can dedicate towards other services and more higher end value work. We do offer multiple support channels, and I think that is an important point to mention. With that letter of the automation platform, it's important to have assistance in creating a flow that will very much translate your current processes into our practice management suite. When getting started, you'll have access to a dedicated onboarding manager who will assist you with your contact import, setting up your document management system, and generating those completely customizable workflows. The last page is our Q&A page. So it gives us an opportunity to run through the chat and to answer any of your questions and queries. But from my side, I really appreciate everyone joining the call. And let me just open the chat now. Okay, so I can see that Maria and Pierre have been really helpful in answering a lot of these questions. So if I may politely ask anyone who has any additional questions, if your question wasn't answered previously, please just copy it in at the bottom of the chat, and then perhaps we can go through and answer those again. We also have a post-webinar survey, so please don't hesitate to share the feedback from this webinar. And to book a demonstration to learn more about our practice management suite, you can share the QR code, or scan, I should say, the QR code in the bottom left corner there to book a demonstration with myself. But I'll keep an eye on the chat, see if there are any incoming questions. And thank you very much for sharing that link. And Pierre has also shared the link in the chat as well. Just give it a couple more minutes. If anyone has any questions about any of the talking points, if you have any specific questions for Kudzi or Suyesh, I'd be more than happy to answer those as well. Okay, we're coming to the end of the hour. Just as you're writing in the chats, I would like to thank both yourself, Kudzi, and Suyesh for joining the call, for sharing your feedback, your own personal experiences. It's great to hear it from a director of an accounting firm, as you currently very frequently manage client interactions and the different responsibilities in your business. Really appreciate you sharing your perspectives. And for everyone on this webinar today, thank you very much for joining, and we very much look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Pleasure was ours. Thank you.
My pleasure, Samuel. Thank you.
You're welcome, Kudzi. Thank you.